Today is an exciting day. We are introducing a new series of videos on the channel, and that is games that you forgot about. Now, these are going to be games that are either more obscure, didn't really go anywhere, or, they had potential and they really got dropped early on or before a sequel could actually show up. And the first one that I want to talk about in this series is PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. This game launched November 20th of 2012, and it was a Smash Bros. Style fighter with PlayStation characters, and it had some multi-platform characters mixed into the roster. Now, this seemed like it would be a surefire hit, PlayStation's version of Super Smash Bros. What could go wrong with that? You have characters like the Big Daddy from BioShock, Cole McGrath from Infamous, Colonel Raddick from Killzone, Dante, the edgy one, from Devil May Cry. You've got other characters like Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, Jak and Daxter, Kratos from God of War, Nathan Drake from Uncharted, Ratchet & Clank from Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, and the list goes on and on and on. There were a lot of characters in this game, and even DLC characters brought to the game later, like Zeus from God of War. Now, what did this game actually do? What was this game? Now, like I said, the game was a Super Smash Bros. Style game. It really seemed designed to be a competitor to that style of fighter with first party and some third and also outside characters from PlayStation itself. You would hit opponents Smash style, knock them into different hazards, and you'd use a variety of different weapons and items. Now, in terms of the variety of weapons and items, those were all over the place. There really weren't nearly as many as there probably should have been, but at the same time, it was a really cool idea. Every character did have alternate skins. Now, unlike Smash Bros., some of these skins needed to be purchased from the outside, while others are unlockable in the game by leveling up each character. Every character did have a progression to level up, although that progression was fairly linear and straightforward, just coming from getting knockouts and kills in the actual matches and playing with the character. I mean, it was pretty simple. There were up to 4 players allowed, AI included, so you could play against 3 other people online or locally, or you could play against 1 or 2 or 3 AIs that you would pick and set a difficulty to. So there were a lot of different options here in terms of the gameplay. Now, what about a single player mode? What about for people who are just playing by themselves? There was a story mode to this game called Arcade Mode, but every character does have a story that is fairly generic, with say 1 or 2 fully animated cutscenes and stills used to fill in some of the gaps in between. There was really nothing to these, especially in terms of actually having a story for them. If you thought that some old fighters had very, very non-interesting stories in terms of just filler to get you through an arcade ladder, this game probably takes the cake for that. Something like Jak and Daxter, it would be, oh hey Jak, we found a new source of eco, which is a system of energy and a resource in the Jak and Daxter world. What could this be? And then they're still shown, and then you fight through a bunch of battles, then you have an animated cutscene against Ratchet and Clank, and then that's it. That sort of thing was what encompassed the story modes. So as you can guess, they were very repetitive, not very good, and pretty poorly written. One issue with this game, though, was actually that it didn't copy Smash enough. Now, what do I mean by that? Jay, that is really lazy. Why would you want it to copy another game and not do its own thing? Well, here's the problem. This game already does seem designed to be a copy of Smash Bros., except that it didn't go all the way. Instead of copying a health system of any kind, whether it's a percentage system or a life bar or anything that would have worked for a health system, this game instead opts to become a meter management game, as every player is building up their meter to get a super kill, and these are really the only ways to actually get kills in this game. You could essentially knock people into hazards and stuff like that, but really the idea here is to get up your meter to level 1, 2, or 3, land a super, get a kill, and get the most amount of kills before the match ends. As you can guess, again, like the story mode, that became very, very repetitive for players, and this game kind of came off more like a tech demo or an idea of what a future game could be than a fully realized game. It had the potential to be a fully realized Smash Bros. Competitor, but instead it seemed more like a proof of concept of, hey, this is what we could do in the future. We could do more with this, and we could keep this going and compete with Smash Bros. Sadly though, the servers shut down on January of 2019, as this was a PlayStation 3 game, and several different PlayStation 3 games did lose support around that time in terms of online servers. Shuhei Yoshida actually did come out and say, as the president of Sony Interactive Entertainment at the time, that the game sold more than 1 million units globally, but it was not enough to have the momentum in terms of a business standpoint to continue to add characters or do a sequel. The game was received well. Many scores ranged from 7 out of 10, in that area 6 to 8 out of 10, depending on the score you're looking at, just sort of averaging at around a 7 from what I personally found online. It seemed that PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale was an imperfect start to a series or a group of games that could potentially compete with Smash Bros. Using a wide array of Sony exclusive characters, which at the time they did have a wide array, but over time they've developed a much larger roster that could have gone into a sequel to this game or continuing the ideas in a future title. There was a PlayStation All Stars Island released in 2013 on mobile, but that was not released in the US, and it wasn't the same type of game at all. It's really a more casual experience, mini games, other modes, stuff like that. It was not a Smash Bros. Competitor. The sad thing is that this game seems to have been just abandoned. There were moments of greatness in it in terms of ideas like having supers, and being able to use these to knock your opponents out. But the problem is the focus on those really did kill the game for a lot of people and just turn it into a meter management in terms of stealing super meter, in terms of building it up just with hitting and not really doing much else with your opponent's life. Now, it does suck because there were a lot of potential new characters that could have been used in a follow-up to this game. Characters like, since this came out, for example, Joel and Ellie from the Last of Us games, the Good Hunter from Bloodborne, Delsin from infamous Second Son, Solid Snake from Metal Gear and MGS, and even though he's in Smash, he was always known for his association with PlayStation. You had Aloy from the Horizon series, an up-and-coming star in terms of exclusive characters, Knack from Knack, I know. I've hit the bottom, I'm asking for Knack in a game. Jin Sakai, who I probably butchered his name as I always do, from Ghost of Tsushima, and even Wander from Shadow of the Colossus. That is just a handful of other characters that could have been used in a sequel to this game. Like I said, this game really came across to me as a proof of concept of, hey, look, we could actually make a Super Smash Bros. Competitor with our first-party characters and some third-party guests. But because it didn't sell well enough, it really seems that Sony just abandoned the entire idea. That's something that really bothers me and bums me out a little bit in game development, is that this probably could have gone on to be a big deal if more time and more care was put into it to make it more than just a glorified tech demo. But instead, this is what we've got. When I did announce this on Instagram, making this video, a lot of people were really excited because I guess many different PlayStation players grew up with this game. It was a big deal to them. I never got to experience it in its heyday. I really only played it for the first time in 2019. But like I said, I really do believe that more could have been done with this game or with future follow-ups. There were a lot of really interesting ideas here to tie together all these different characters. I mean, when you have crossovers between games like Heavenly Sword and Dead Space and Medieval in your roster and in your lineup, that actually is really shown to be more of a, not for the fans, but a, hey, we know characters that you like. Some of these are not the biggest games in the world, but we decided to put them in here and sort of show them some love. It had that going for it. I would say even a little bit before Smash Brothers did, as Smash Brothers has often been focused on main A-listers first. This had a lot of potential to bring in lesser known exclusive characters and draw a bit of a limelight on PlayStation's lesser known games. But sadly, as is the title of this series, this instead rests at the bottom of a lake as one of the games that you have likely forgot about. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you ever play this game when you were younger? Are you a fan of this game and the meter management system? And what ideas would you have had for a sequel or for other games like this? Would you like to see other fighters that are Smash competitors, or do you think that should be left alone? I'm excited to hear what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you dislike it. As always, please, if you do hate on me, it does get me in recommended, so I still appreciate all of the haters and the dislikes. And hey, I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day, and as always, stay shui.